No, that's all wrong.
I'm just demoing a bad way to stretch hamstrings.
Oh, like the way you demoed how to park badly this morning? Take up 2 spaces so I don't have any room?
That wasn't a demo. Anyway, today, it's tight hamstrings and what to do about them here on Fusion Fitness TV.
Fusion Fitness TV, the place for your weekly health and fitness startup, tune-up, and shape-up.
Here's a forward bend with loose hamstrings. Bending all the way over, hands touching the floor, straight back. Looks pretty comfortable. Now let's look at someone with tight hamstrings trying to do a forward bend, and you see, rounded low back. This might also be a tight low back, not just the hamstrings, but it looks pretty painful. Come out of that, Jen. With your hands on the floor, try bending your knees. This will be a much better stretch for your back. It'll take your tight hamstrings out of the picture, and you can do this bend safely. Here's something to watch for if you're practicing your burpees. Your hamstrings play a big role in your squat. Here you see flexible hamstrings, nice long back. And here you see tight hamstrings. Your hips roll underneath you, your low back curves. If you try doing burpees like this, you are asking for trouble in your low back. Here's one way to work on your hamstring flexibility. Sit back into a squat and stop at the point when your hips just start to curl underneath you. Here, as you see, Jen is very flexible. She can sit pretty deep. But look at how straight her back is. Let's try some isolated hamstring stretches. A lot of people do this badly or do this wrong. Here's the right way to do a laying down hamstring stretch. Now let's look at the wrong way to do one. Here's what you see a lot of people do. They jam their low back into the floor, lift their head up, they're straining, bending knees. This is not a stretch, this is I don't know what this is. The key thing is keeping your low back away from the floor. As soon as you start rounding your low back, you're not stretching your hamstring anymore. Here's the standing hamstring stretch that you'll commonly see people do, except this is the right way to do it. Here, Jen's pulling her hip back, keeping her low back long and straight. Thigh is tight, she's breathing deep. No bouncing, long and slow stretch. Here's what most people usually do. This is, in case you haven't guessed, the bad way. Bent knees, rounded back, holding your breath. The hips are cockeyed, straining. The only thing getting stretched here and getting stretched thin is my patience. Anyway, if you got tight hamstrings and you want to stretch them, here's one great way to do it. Put your foot up on a chair, as you see Jen doing here. Bend forward and only bend as far as you can while keeping your back straight. Extend over your leg and move your hip back. Here's the standing version if you don't have a chair to put your foot on. Keep your knee straight, bend forward, but only as far as you can while keeping your back straight. Keep moving the hip back, in this case it would be your right hip, and stretch and extend over that leg. And if you haven't guessed by now, this is a bad way to stretch your hamstring. It's not really stretching your hamstring, it's overstretching ligaments in your back. And my patience is growing thinner and my anger is mounting. Oh, that's better. Now I'm calming down. A great cue that's always helped me is imagine your hips are a cup holding water. And while you're doing this stretch, you're tipping the cup forward, dumping the water out. That will help keep your back in position. Don't forget that sitting all day tightens up your hamstrings too, especially in your car.
Yeah. That reminds me. Now that you're all loosened up, you can go move your car out of my parking space.
FusionFitnessTV.com. Fusion Fitness TV is a Media Transistor production.